that passes 4-0. Please stand for the flag salute. Mrs. Pickle, will you lead us? Tiffany, will you lead us? Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion for the approval of the agenda?
So moved.
I second that motion.
Call for the vote. And that passes 4-0. At this time, we would like to recognize 3 exceptional athletic teams from our winter sports, and we'll start by inviting Mr. Jolly to the podium.
Good evening, Board President Ham, board members, Superintendent Peterson, Cabinet, and Mrs. Rohrbeck. We are very excited I'm excited to be here today to talk about our varsity boys soccer team. They won our section and then continued on to the Northern California competitions, and it was just really an amazing accomplishment by them. So very historic for our site. We've only won our section 6 times in 100 years, so a very wonderful, beautiful thing to see.
And so we'll invite Mr. Swartwood up to introduce a couple teams.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kevin Swartwood, principal at Golden Valley High School. I'm here tonight to introduce to you a couple of our teams. The first will be our boys soccer team. Unlike Chaz, he talked about 6 championships in their career, or the career of their school. Our boys soccer team won their first section championship in the history of our school. So we opened our doors in 1994. We finally won a boys section soccer championship. So it's an outstanding accomplishment. The kids did a great job all year long. Our coach, Mr. Eber, has been with us now for many years, and they worked very hard to get to this point. I'm going to let Lance come up and talk a little bit about the team and then introduce these guys to you. So, Coach Eber, come on up.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Swartwood, for introducing. Our team really did. We had a great season this year. One of our main motto of the season is to be champions. You got to do what the 99% of the other teams won't do. And so our pre-match chant every pregame was 1%. And that's what we tried to be, is the 1%. And these guys worked really hard. We got a lot of guys at track today. We got some kids working, so we've got as many here that we could. And this is my 14th year at GV. Both of my kids played at GV. My assistant coach, Alfredo Arroyo, he's a GV alum also. I'm not a GV alum. I was out of high school way before then. So, again, I thank Mr. Swartwood. We had a rough season. We had our new turf coming in this year. So we got evicted from Golden Valley right after Christmas break. And we practiced at McNamara Park. And then we played our home matches at the UC Merced. And so it was a lot of buses back and forth here and there, and I appreciate Mr. Swartwood and the school's admin for just working really hard for us, and the district as well for supporting the school and letting us use buses to get to where we could practice. And other than that, it was a fun ride. We gave up the fewest goals in conference play this year to be CCC champs. Our goalie was named CCC Goalie of the Year. One of our defenders was named CCC Defender of the Year. And going through to the section finals, it's a four-match win streak. That's all we needed. And first game, 6-0. Second game, 3-2. Third game, 7-0. and we gave up only 3 goals in 4 matches. So it was a great run. So I appreciate the guys. I appreciate Coach Alfredo being with me. And what else would you like me to? Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
have some certificates
Okay.
for you to take back. I
Okay.
just want everyone to know just what a big deal a section championship is. Our most southern school in the Sac Joaquin section is LeGrand High School. And our most northern school is Marysville, Yuba City. Think about that. Our most western school is Napa, the Napa area, and our most eastern schools are the Sierra Nevada Mountains, Colfax. So that's a huge geographical area, well over 200 schools, and anytime any teams from our district win a section championship, it's a huge congratulations, so well done.
Jacob Ayala, he was a senior. He's not here tonight. So if we call your name, come on up and grab your certificate. Caleb, I don't see Caleb. Diego? Nope, not Diego. Aaron Figueroa, I saw. Come on up, Aaron. You're the first one. And Daniel Gaona, I saw Daniel show up. Jonathan Gomez. Hector Gonzalez. Hector made it. Christian's not here. Hayden Maldonado. Jonathan Gomez. Perfect timing, just walked in. Nestor. Carlos didn't make it. Chris wasn't here. Jonathan Naranjo. Ivan Segura. And Manuel Zarate. That's our goalie of the year for CCC. And he got his cast off. Yeah, and that's it. And we actually have 6 of our soccer players that are at Patterson for a track meet, fighting for a CCC title in track. So some of these kids might have 2 CCC championship patches this year. So that's really exciting. So again, I thank the board for letting us come here and honor the kids. It was a super season. They practiced really hard. And being the 1%, we practiced in the rain, we practiced in the cold, and that's what it took to be section champs. So great job, guys. Thanks for coming.
All right, I have another team to introduce to you tonight. Our wrestling team, coached by Chopper Mello. Chopper came on staff with us in 1997. So he's definitely a veteran, and his program has been nothing but really, really well done. Every year he's done it. He takes these young boys and girls and turns them into young men and women. And he just does it year after year. He does a great job. He's got a great touch. He just knows exactly how to do it, and they win, and that's just the gravy, right? The winning part's just the gravy. So they're undefeated CCC champs this year, and I'll let Mr. Mello come on up and do some introductions, and then we'll meet some of the kids that showed up.
Wow, it's kind of hard to follow a blue banner. Congrats, soccer. I think there's 5 of those hanging in the gym at GV, Kevin? 2 of them are wrestling. So I do know how hard it is to get those. And so congrats, that's a big deal. We had outstanding season. This is our 4th CCC championship in the past 4 years in a row. It's really hard to repeat once, but 4 times is a big deal. These kids work year-round. We practice today, off-season. It's just what we do. We finished 3rd in the Sac Joaquin section, Division III, and we qualified our entire team to that tournament as well. We had 4 girls champions on our team, too. This is for the boys tonight because they were the team champions, but we had 4 individual girl champions out of 14 weight classes. So our program works really hard at maintaining a level of competing just year in and year out, and I'm really proud to be a part of it. This is my 26th year at GV. I was very lucky this year to get my 400th dual meet win. Very few wrestling coaches can do that, and it's on the backs of these kids that we've won that many dual meets. I don't know if I'll get to 500, but we'll see, 1 year at a time now. So I want to commend my coaches. I have 7 coaches on my staff, and they do the bulk of the work. I have 2 of them here tonight, Andrew Powers and Sergio Martinez. And without them, nothing that we do would be possible. So I'm really proud of what we do. I brought a few of our kids. Again, just like soccer, there's track tonight, and several of our athletes are also competing in the track meet too. So we're proud to have multi-sport athletes at Golden Valley and that they're doing that. So thank you for honoring us and having us. Let me introduce to you a couple of kids that are here tonight, and I'll let you guys get on with the meeting. Azariah Brajas was 2nd in the CCC this year. I also want to mention that out of 14 weight classes, we return 11. So we're not going away. We're going to win year in and year out, and that's our goal. And 3 seniors, and those 3 seniors have been undefeated. They've never lost a dual meet in the CCC, and that's unheard of. So yeah, real proud of these kids, so especially my seniors. I won't mention the kids that aren't here right now because I'll give them their certificates later. Isaac LeBlanc is a junior or a sophomore. He was 2nd in the CCC for us this year. CCC runner-up. Big things from Isaac next year. Austin Mello is a junior. He's my son. He's also a baseball player and a football player. He was 2nd in the CCC for the 2nd year in a row. Eisen Molina is a sophomore. Was 3rd in the CCC this year. Outstanding year for Eisen. Jacob Partita is a junior. He was 2nd in the CCC this year for us. So you're noticing I'm introducing a lot of underclassmen. So we just keep working hard and getting these kids in the room. And here's one of our seniors, Elijah Solis. So proud of our 3 seniors. We only had 3 kids that went 4 years for us. That's a hard thing to do, to be in a sport and compete all 4 years. And we give a big award called the Iron Man Award every year, and Elijah was one of those. I should also mention that you should probably remember these seniors have been through COVID. And we won 4 league titles going through COVID. And some of you remember what it was like for us to have to go through COVID. Wrestling Hat last year had to test every day. It was no small feat to keep these kids on the mat and win a league title doing that. And that was last year. And then come back and get them all to come back this year. So I'm very proud of these kids. And lastly for tonight, Ian Thor, one of my also rock solid seniors. I should mention that Both Elijah and Ian were CCC champions. Ian was also a Division III Sac Joaquin section champion individually, and a Masters qualifier. So, again, I thank y'all for having us. It's always a pleasure to come see y'all and get accolades like this and Cougar Pride.
All right, we'll wrap this up. I'm just glad you got a chance to meet two of our outstanding coaches, and you could feel the intensity, right? You could feel that enthusiasm, intensity. I want to just say, kids, thank you guys. You guys do a great job, not just as athletes, but you do a great job in the hallways, and I appreciate that. So thank you guys for having us.
Thank you. We love having students and staff and community members come to our board meetings, and we are really happy that we can shower accolades and congratulate you on these tremendous accomplishments. And way to go, Golden Valley! What a tremendous winter season. So take that pride and spirit back to your campus and finish the school year strong, right, Mr. Swartwood? Mrs. Parley to present the showcase.
Good evening, President Ham, board members, Superintendent Peterson, Cabinet, and Mrs. Rohrbach. I am Alexi Parley. I'm the principal of Atwater High School, and we are honored to welcome you to our campus. Tonight, we will be showcasing our turf grass and sports management program. Our turf management program became part of our robust ag department in 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Gossman.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to share. And really, the opportunity to share today is because of the support and opportunities that the district and school and the community have given us. So thank you. So I know I'm keeping this quick and on the clock. First off, some of you might ask, what does ag and sports have in common? And is it? Oh, no, there we go. And the reality with ag is, in terms of sports and fields, turf, soil, and irrigation. And those three things are directly related to agriculture. And if you think about it, every school and community has parks, recreation, sports fields, golf. There are schools, colleges, universities, parks, recreation. You get into the professional sports, they all have turf and sports fields. This is an industry and a niche that I believe is untapped. And there is an extremely high demand and need for this profession just to fill all the jobs in the areas that we filled. There's very little high school programs in this, in OH. And I love sports, and so that connection to explore this and the opportunity to meet some teachers on the East Coast. And in 2019, when the board approved this course, we were the first high school program in the state to have a turf grass sports field management class. And since then, other schools have added on. There also is limited turf and sports field management degrees and majors. Most of them are located on the East Coast and the Southeast, although on the Western U.S., there are colleges and programs that may have some courses or certifications in that. The SFMA is a Sports Field Management Association, and this is the professional organization that was organized by NFL turf management personnel in the pros and also different universities. And the goal was to create an organization specifically focused on this particular niche. And this is an organization that I joined, and just being a pollywog amongst all the big fish of all the professional sports, when you say you're a high school teacher with a program like this, they all draw to you and say, what can we do to support you? And that felt great. And what's nice is there are industry certifications through that, and they have opened up student certifications, which our students take every year. I'm also on the committee with the ICEV to develop high school curriculum, which should be out in 2024, that will also provide industry certifications for students. As a teacher, if you have something that's already packaged in terms of curriculum, it's a lot easier to get started and grow and build, and so we're excited about creating that. So why do we start this course? Well, it was an opportunity to expand the horticulture course and pathway. This was also, I believe, an opportunity to connect to kids that weren't necessarily at kids, especially those that were focused on athletics. It's a course that's very hands-on, opportunity to utilize and operate a lot of equipment. It's fun, you're outdoors, etc. Again, I was influenced with a teacher I met in Virginia, an ag teacher. He's also the high school football coach, and so his kids take care of the grounds and the football stadium, the stencils, and so forth. As far as what the course involves, again, much overlap into Hort with soil, turf, irrigation, fertilizer. We cover safety, equipment operation, and training and maintenance, everything from the soils, the sports field lab, curriculum, turf maintenance, and then utilizing some of the campus spots, fields here as an opportunity. Sometimes we get asked, are we a threat to those already on the grounds? Believe me, when you realize how much time is spent on fields, there's never enough time. And so we believe we've had a great opportunity to form a partnership with our grounds crew here in helping in maintaining and giving the students opportunities. In the fall, we spent a lot of time with equipment training, operation, getting them certified, going through safety, et cetera, on different uses of equipment that's directly related to industry-utilized equipment today. So we set up obstacle courses and things like that, how to steer so we don't crash into trees and things like that. But again, a lot of the fall is training and learning. And then when we get into winter, we get into the curriculum, take advantage of some labs and opportunities. And then followed in the spring, we can really just focus on setting up projects for students to be involved in and working with some of the coaches and the fields. So again, a lot of hands-on. This is renovating the JV baseball field and so forth. So keeps kids and students busy, a lot of hard work, but gain some new skills. In terms of storage and equipment, again, the district and schools approved a lot of things we've been able to obtain through grants and other funding resources, a variety of equipment. We're excited about some of the things we've been able to get in the past few years, and a little bit later we'll show you some of the things. What's nice too is that this course does overlap with horticulture, so a lot of what's used. Just a damn photo if you're getting bored. We do have professional development, so I'm very appreciative of the opportunity for myself, but also for the industry to come out here and open the doors for students. We've been with the Oakland Days and other professionals. I've had the opportunity, like I said, to go some of these conferences and learn the skills myself so that I can come back and share those skills with students. The opportunity to visit some of these, at the highest level, the professional and university fields that are recognized worldwide. It's an opportunity also just to see the trade show, a lot of the equipment, and more importantly, just the connecting with other professionals and developing relationships as resources for the future. Kind of an exciting opportunity. This last year, I went to Arizona, to Camelback Ranch and Arizona State University with the White Sox and Dodgers. And what's great is, I guess Dave Gossman didn't drive them the other way, and they said, hey, why don't you come back and bring some students? So we're right now working with the opportunity to bring about 4 or 5 students for a 1-week internship job shadowing at Camelback Ranch with the Dodgers and the White Sox there. An opportunity for students to get hands-on experience and see what it's like in the real world at the highest level. Arizona State, just an example, they had a night game against UCLA. I arrived with the team at 1:30. We left at 3 a.m. So just what's involved pre-game and post-game in terms of that field was amazing. And for me, that opportunity to share that experience with students, I think, is going to be fantastic. We do have some new equipment coming in, thanks to Jeanette and the district on the workforce grant. On the left is a new Toro Reel Master that they use at a lot of the MLB fields. And on the right, I believe it's going to be the only county's, it's a field laser grader, so it's going to be able to level fields out. If you go to the Little League field out there, you'll see it's all roly-poly. So this is going to be nice. And again, looking ahead, the goal is to take this equipment with students and do community outreach projects. So once this equipment comes in, that's the plan to schedule those for summer and especially in the fall. In terms of looking ahead, we're looking at expanded skills. We do have the equipment to do stenciling and the painting. We're going to have a gentleman from the Modesto Nuts come down and give demos to the students. ICEV, again, is doing the certification, so I'm on the committee for that. And then also just looking at increase and expanding other high school turf programs. I'm very excited about Golden Valley. I know they have it started up next year, and been in touch with them. And like it is in the ag world with teachers, any and everything we can do to share and support, we're looking forward to that. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to a few students to kind of share their experience in the program. So I'll start off with Robert.
Hi, so my name is Robert Teeter, and the couple things I like about this class is the safety. I learned a lot through it, and I like being able to be independent and go out and do tasks on my own, and the safety made it to where I could, and I learned a lot through it. So.
Hello, my name is Jacqueline. This is my first year in turf, and I really love this class because some people might think it's just mowing, but there's a lot more to caring for turf. And there's a lot of science and math that goes into it. And my future career, I wanna major in environmental sciences, so this helps me a lot with the different environments that the turf needs to be in and the different soil types that would be best to be putting into the mound.
Hi, my name's Zach Watts. I am a senior here, so sadly this is my first and last year of turf management. I like how there's a lot of hands-on opportunities in this class. When you're with Gossman, we have a lot of tools, and there's always a project going on, so no matter what, you'll be working. And this class has helped me with overcoming fears of doing a job wrong. It has given me more confidence of just getting the job done and believing in yourself to know that it's done.
Thank you. And again, just want to thank the district and the school for your support and allowing us this opportunity, and look forward to continuing to grow and expand and give you a positive return on your investment. So thank you.
So what do you guys think about the blue field?
Well, I'm glad I'm not a goose flying in looking for a lake, but no, I think it's great. I think kids love, I've been to the Boise State, and they're renowned for that, but I think it's exciting. I think kids enjoy that. I think it was a great investment. People don't realize in synthetic, you could not spend the time out there daily, 7 days a week, from sunrise to beyond sunset on a natural grass. So having that, I think, is a tremendous resource. So it's been great.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gossman, and thank you to our students for your hard work and dedication. I would like to start off my principal's report by acknowledging our Seal of Biliteracy program. The MCOE Seal of Biliteracy program recognizes high school students who have attained a high level of proficiency in speaking, reading, and writing in one or more language in addition to English. Atwater High School's Seal of Biliteracy program continues to thrive through the guidance and support of our AP of TNL, Jenny Medeiros, our World Language Department, and our guidance tech, Mr. Hernandez. This year, Atwater High School had 98 students earn the Seal of Biliteracy. I am very proud to state that we had the largest number of students receiving this great honor, not only in our district, but we also have the largest number of recipients out of all of the Merced County schools. Tonight, Mr. Hernandez, Mrs. Maravilla, one of our world language teachers, along with Aide Renteria and Brian Cisneros, 2 of those 98 recipients, are here with us. I would like to recognize them now for this great honor and their hard work and dedication. Thank you. I would now like to give you an update on more great things that we have happening at Atwater High School. Last month, Atwater High School had our 6-year WASC visit. I am proud to share that the visiting team celebrated our following school-wide strengths. They stated that our CTE programs are engaging, support critical and creative thinking, and prepare students for careers and life. Our world language, science, arts, and upper-level core classes are challenging, rigorous, and relevant. They found that we have a wide variety of extracurricular events and programs that foster a sense of community and belonging. And we have a staff that is passionate about their work, committed to improvement, and care deeply about our students. Mr. Gossman showcased just one of our many CTE programs a moment ago that the WASC team witnessed during their visit. His is just one of our many great CTE programs at Atwater High School. This spring break, our CTE Skills USA team competed in the Skills USA State Conference. We had 29 students and 14 events received medals at the regionals to qualify for state, our largest number to date. May is going to be a very exciting month for many of our CTE programs. On May 4th, our MedTech, EMR, Forensics, and Drama students will be participating in a simulated live action triage event on our campus. On May 6th, our Construction Trades program will be hosting a district competition at our Castle facility. And on May 18th, our robotics program will be hosting a district competition at Atwater High School. We are very proud of the work and extra hours our CTE teachers and students put in. We are excited to showcase and host these events and hope to continue these annually. Our fostering of our sense of community and belonging will also be on display when we host a community celebration on May 5th. Our leadership and HYLC will be hosting a food fair that will include student performances and a student car show. The WASC team also recognized that AHS would benefit from more restorative and positive behavior interventions. Atwater High School has seen an increase in confrontive behaviors this year, primarily from our incoming students. Our staff is committed to increasing restorative and positive behavior interventions and have already put in motion the following. We are working on incorporating a site-wide behavior expectations boot camp, as well as CHAMPS, which is a proactive approach to classroom management that stands for conversation, help, activity, movement, participation, and success in our Frosh seminar classes, as well as an MTSS 9th grade teacher cohort that will focus on site-wide 9th grade behavior expectations. We are also currently working on a school-wide monthly behavior lessons that will be peer-led and taught by our AHS leadership students. These would not be possible without the work of our instructional coach, Haley Branco, Intervention Center teacher, Lori Kale, Intervention Coordinator, Richard Marmolejo, our incoming freshman counselor, Stephanie Ochoa, our librarian, Travis Harding, our activities director, Nathan Braga, our AP of T&L, Jenny Medeiros, and our committed staff. Richard Marmolejo and our AP of Guidance, Liz Fonsfon, will also be hosting a summer boot camp for our incoming At Promise students. Our counselors also just completed their first round of classroom walkthrough visits and preparations for the lessons they will be teaching as part of the district-wide work with Hatchings. We have also partnered with our feeder school, Winton Middle, and will be hosting 3 parent and student Nurtured Heart Approach meetings this month at Winton Middle. Our current parents and students, along with current Winton Middle parents and students, are invited to attend. Lastly, I would like to also acknowledge and congratulate Coach Ken Rhodes for being selected as the 2022-2023 Sac Joaquin Section Coach Model Award winner. Coach Rhodes was selected as one of 6 coaches in the entire Sac Joaquin section. CIF Sac Joaquin has also selected Tyler Parr as a Dale Lackey Scholar Athlete Award recipient. Congratulations to Coach Rhodes and Tyler. This concludes my report. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about Atwater High School.
Tyler Parr won the overall award? No, recipient. He's one of the. Yeah, oh, it's one, okay.
He's one of the. We will find out more at the running.
Right, right.
Thank you, Mrs. Parley. Now it's time for the general public comment period. I read this anyway.
I don't have any comment cards.
Okay. So we will move on to reports, discussion. Sorry. Melissa Miller.
Good evening. Tonight I'm going to briefly review our completed projects and quickly move forward to our current and planned facilities projects. Scroll for me, Mike. Thank you. Golden Valley High School softball dugouts. I'm excited to announce that the site played their first game on the field March 3rd. The field is in full operation just in time for the new season. Livingston High School concessions and ticket booth. As you can see in the upper photo, sod has been installed and is currently under a mandated landscape warranty instituted by the contractor. In order to maintain the integrity of the sod, we have kept the temporary fence around the site. Johnson Controls is scheduled to install the fire alarm system this Thursday, and this was outside of the original contract and required extra time. Once the fire alarm system is fully operational, substantial completion can be posted and the site can take occupancy of the building. Next slide, please. Thank you. Current, new nutrition services in central kitchen. Interior doors and frames are scheduled to arrive next week. Once received, carpentry work will continue. Walk-in freezer and refrigeration units are set to ship this week. Rough-in electrical and mechanical scopes are continuous. Next slide. El Capitan High veneer remediation project. Building A brick facade is installed. This is the final building required per the plans to complete brick installation. We're excited about that. Most of the existing overflow drains over doorways have been relocated as part of the project contract. Joint sealant application continues. And finally, temporary fencing has been removed from the site and the contractor has begun demobilizing equipment and materials. These items are just a segment of the punch list and contractual obligations that remain for the El Capitan High School project. Planned facility projects. Next slide, please. This is just a short list, and then I'll move forward to the next, please. Golden Valley High School HVAC unit and EMS replacement. This is pending board approval tonight. Contractor will immediately proceed with the installation of the EMS components in the currently stored units, pending board approval. This work can be done during the month of May. By June 5th, preparation for the units to be installed on all GVHS rooftops will begin. This is a closed site, and summer school will not be in session on the GVHS campus. The goal is to complete this project during the scheduled summer months. The gym units will be ordered and replaced at a later date after we receive DSA approval. Next slide, please. Atwater High School and Merced High School pool projects bid the 30th of March. Project was outside of our estimated budget at a whopping $20 million as opposed to the budgeted $15 million. The board will make a decision tonight on the outcome of this bid. Next slide, please. Atwater High School, next. Livingston High School track and field project. After the atmospheric river season has passed, don't you love that description? I felt it best to reevaluate the storm drain system. The design team went back to the drawing board and conceived an alternate option that is compatible and provides better drainage options for the track and field. Work will commence in the next 2 weeks. Next slide, please. Oh, I'm sorry, there are no more. I'm just going to follow up with a summary of a couple more projects. Golden Valley High School and Atwater High School portable and relocatable classrooms. Lease for these buildings are under the consent agenda tonight. The bid to construct and provide utilities and services for this project will be forthcoming, likely in June, on the June board meeting. El Capitan High School and Buhack High School stadium projects. These are scheduled to be submitted to DSA mid-May, and we foresee DSA approval around late August. Let's keep our fingers crossed. It will take approximately 6 to 8 weeks to prepare and bid the projects. Projects would then begin mid-November 2023 if all goes as planned. That concludes the facilities update for the evening. Any questions?
Melissa, I remember last summer how hot the Golden Valley Gym was, and we got quite a few complaints.
Right.
You said that is still under DSA review.
Yes. So
and what are you going to do about the gym use this summer?
So gym use will continue. However, we will, obviously the unit installation for the gyms are going to be delayed potentially, and it depends on when we will receive units through the supply chain, of course. So I can't say at this time how that's going to affect the environment in the gym. However, in the long run, it will be repaired and they will have a full, nice, cool facility to use.
Well, I'm wondering if maybe another facility could be made available to them. I mean, does Yosemite use their gym during the summer?
I mean, I think that's something that definitely can be considered. That would be a conversation probably between the sites, and so that is an option.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Mrs. Johnson is going to give us the superintendent goal update.
Over the last 5 to 10 years, there's been a lot of conversation about our counseling programs. A board goal was created to set and coordinate the measurable expectations for counseling services that all students should receive and identify how that will be tracked and reported. In the last 2 decades, we have had turnover of district office staff who were overseeing counseling. In addition, these people had very little knowledge about effective school counseling programs. We did not have a clear vision of what a comprehensive school counseling program looked like, and we did not officially adopt the American School Counselor Association national model that came out in 2003. We did not focus on professional development for counselors, and our site administrators who oversee counseling did not receive adequate training on the appropriate duties of school counselors. We also learned that counselors have been spending time on non-school counseling duties and administrative tasks, which takes away from the time they spend face-to-face with students. We know that following the ASCA national model is important. Research shows that there are positive student outcomes, improved student learning and behavioral outcomes, improved attendance and connection to school, improvement in study skills and persistence, higher graduation rates, reduced racial disproportionality in AP courses, and a higher likelihood of attending college when students have access to effective school counselors who follow the national model. After meeting with site counseling departments to get feedback and attending conferences to learn about effective counseling programs, we decided that working to align to the ASCA national model was a project too big to do alone. We contracted with Hatching Results to help us with this work. We decided that a comprehensive school counseling program should belong to the district rather than to individuals or sites. We knew we needed a counseling handbook aligned to district improvement metrics with clear, written down processes, procedures, and protocols. We also knew we needed to develop a franchise district-wide counseling Tier 1 plan that included classroom lessons delivered to all students in certain grade levels. We are still learning how to disaggregate data such as attendance, behavior, and achievement data, and we are looking to free up counselors' time to do this important work. Our time with Hatching Results has been based on 2 philosophies. The first is that time is our most precious resource, and the second is the counselor's primary role is to positively impact all students' academic college career and social-emotional success. I'm joined tonight by Caitlin Mayo, who is a program administrator and has been instrumental in getting our counseling professional development to the district. She is going to talk tonight about the ASCA national model.
So, excuse me. Hatching Results professional development aligns to the ASCA national model, and that stands for the American School Counseling Association. It also aligns to MTSS. So the ASCA model framework provides guidance on best practices to meet student needs across a multi-tier, multi-domain system. The framework consists of 4 components. As you can see here, so there's define, manage, assess, and deliver. The majority of a school counselor's time should be spent in the delivery of direct services, and that means face-to-face with students in the room. In addition to direct services, we want indirect services as appropriate. And so that means the student is not in their presence. Direct and indirect services are provided across all 3 tiers of intervention: defining, managing, and assessing components of the comprehensive school counseling program and processes that ensure services are delivered equitably, with effectiveness, and driven by data to demonstrate areas of need or desired measured outcomes as guided by program goals. Ideally, 20% of a school counselor's time is spent in system support, and 80% of a counselor's time is spent providing direct services with students as well as indirect services on behalf of students. So this is ASCA's suggested use of time for school counselors. As you can see, the recommended 80% of delivery is separated into direct and indirect services. Approximately 60% of a counselor's time is spent or should be spent providing direct services, and that's in those 3 areas. So instruction, which includes our Tier 1 lesson delivery that Ms. Johnson mentioned we've been working on, and actually that Ms. Parley mentioned that her counselors are working on as well. So we're looking at appraisal and advisement, which is across any of the 3 tiers, and that's going to include your things like transcript evaluations and ensuring that students are in A through G courses if college is their goal, as well as counseling. And so that's going to occur short-term counseling following a counseling theory or model, and that's provided to students individually, which is a Tier 3 level, or in groups, which would mean that's more of a Tier 2. If they're in groups, it's more Tier 2. And that's during times of heightened stress, transition, change, or other situations that impede student success. 20% of counselor time is ideally spent in indirect services. So of that 80, 60 is in face-to-face with a student, and only 20 or less is without the student in the room. And indirect services can include consultation, collaboration, and referrals. So finally, no more than 20% of counselor time should be spent in system support. And again, this is just a guideline. So ASCA acknowledges that even though these suggestions are provided, they are just guidelines, and we should be using program data and student outcome goals to determine how that 80% of our specific programs, how those services are delivered in our programs.
As we continue to move forward, it is important that we understand the role of leaders in our district to keep this work going. At the district level, we need to scaffold expectations for use of time, understanding that it takes 3 to 5 years to make this shift. We need to hold focus group meetings to check in on successes, barriers, and systemic tweaks. We need to work on a marketing campaign to educate key players about the changes to our comprehensive school counseling program. We need to stay current on policy recommendations from ASCA and provide PD for admin and counselors. We need to provide data to help make decisions, and we need to coordinate the implementation of professional learning communities that provide mentorship and strategies so we are engaged in the ASCA-aligned activities. Site leaders need to support their staff in setting realistic and manageable goals for use of time, help with a plan for progress monitoring and making incremental changes, remove barriers, support counselors in completing time studies, self-monitor for outdated or inaccurate mindsets, provide data to counselors to help make programmatic decisions, and provide time for participation in professional learning communities. Next month, you're going to actually hear from the counselors. They will be here to share an overview of what they have done with hatching results so far this year. In addition to 6 in-person days of professional development, Hatching Results also conducted 3 days of site visits and provided consultation with our leadership team. Counselors have developed a handbook that includes Tier 1 lessons with pre and post tests. They will also begin to look at data analysis and time analysis at their last 2 days in May. We look forward to hearing about what they have learned to date.
Can you go back to the slide with the percentages, please? Yes, that one there. So where it says high school percentage of time, is that our high schools or is that high schools across the? So where is MUHSD with those numbers?
This is a guess because we haven't been tracking it. I would say that we're opposite. We're doing more 80% of indirect service and 20% of direct service.
Gotcha. Okay. So that's a.
Yeah, it depends on the counselor, it depends on the site.
Okay. Because obviously I think that's been a concern of all of us these past few years is more direct contact with students so that whether it was even pre-COVID, and so now we're post-COVID, he's ensuring that that is the goal now moving forward.
I think the counselors are going to share this with you next month, but the biggest takeaway that I got out of this was we were doing a lot of presentations in classes, and now we're going to focus on teaching a skill with a pre and a post test in those classes. So that is a great way to have that direct service with students.
And I think that was another concern, and I know Mr. Ballard is as far as those contacts, where you go do a classroom presentation, and yet that could be 40 contacts, but it's not working with individual kids at a time. You're hitting 40 at a time, or doing a mass presentation with 200 kids. Well, I guess it could be considered 200 contacts, but it's not really an individual contact.
But when we're doing the lessons now, we're going to have those pre and post tests, so that's going to give us data so we know who to follow up with.
Gotcha. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thank you both.
Dr. Weimer?
Okay, very quickly, we do have a little bit of attendance data to share with you. You've heard it a couple of times in budget conversations, but this gives you a little bit better picture of what we're actually talking about for attendance. So the green and the red is basically where we're at this year. And then I have a comparison from 2018 from two sites to kind of show you where we were pre-COVID levels. But the attendance rate from February 27th to March 8th, we were running at about 93%. If you go back to 2018, LCAP was at 94.7 versus the 93.48 now. Merced High was at 94.8 compared to the 91. So you see that we're still off that 1% to 2% range. And some of our schools, it's even closer to a 3% range, where we have not got all of our students back on campus yet. On this side, it takes a look at that. Is it across the board or is it targeted students? So when we look at missed 20 plus days in any particular period, so that's from August to March, so 125-day period, missed 20 in any given period, you can see the numbers and the percentages there. So 20% of our kids in our comprehensive sites missed 20 or more days in at least one class. Now, if you missed 20 periods of one class, you probably missed it in more than one class, but you can tell that they were 20% missed 20 plus days. If you get to 40 plus days in that same period of time, we're looking at 5.3%, and you're seeing some of our campuses even up in the 7 and 8% range. If you look back at 2018, you had a 12.5% and a 12.3% for the 20 plus, so we were about 12%, and this year we're at about 20% still. So you're seeing a large number of people who are higher on that 20 plus. So it's not the 80% of kids, it's that 20% of kids who are missing a lot of days. It's not the 80% missing a few more days, it's the 20% missing a lot more days. And then you can see that was around 2% for those students who were missing 40 or more periods at that particular time, and that's up to 5%. So 3% of our students, and again, we have 10,000 students, so that's a large number of students who are missing 40 plus periods in 128 days. That's a third of the time that they're not there. So being the money guy, obviously, I have the fiscal implications up there, but I have the other implications up there as well. If we're at about 1.8% lower daily attendance, that's about $2.7 million for the year. So if we got back to the same regular percentage that we were back in 2018, we would be getting about $2.7 million more. And we've had that conversation that 3 years out from now, we're running about a $2 million deficit on our ongoing funds. This could be a very good step in getting that closed. If you look at it in a different way, if you took the 3.2% higher with the 40% absent, you just got those numbers back from the 5% down to the 2%, that would be $2.7 million. Now, we can't do both of them. You're going to get one or the other, but most likely getting that bottom group that is missing a whole lot more and getting that 20 absences back in there too, we're looking anywhere between 2.7, probably the $3.5 million that you would be able to get back in attendance if we got, or back in ADA per LCFF funds, if we could get back to regular ADA. Obviously, those same things have impacts in the classroom. 5% of our students missing 1/3 of the time. Obviously, that's going to be a major implication for missing assignments and grades and learning loss. And I'm guessing that even 20 absences out of 125 periods, you're at the point where you're missing so many assignments, it's going to be very difficult to be playing catch up in those particular situations. And that's got to be something that is extremely frustrating for our teachers to be working with those particular situations, and then the learning loss for the students as well. We do have the ability, and we will be applying for a Learning Communities for Successful Schools program. This is not the Community Schools Program grant that we already got. This is one that basically targets just attendance. 25% of the savings from Prop 48, which was the, I don't know if I need to get into it, but it was basically lower sentences in the criminal justice system. Savings that came from not having as many people in the criminal justice system was required to turn around and be given to schools in grants for at-risk students. So those funds are available. It has to be for non-punitive measures to improve attendance, and we would be able to do some temporary staffing over 3 years to be able to identify who these students are that are missing, find out the causes for why they're missing, identify supports and services, and help get those students back on campus, get them tutoring, get them back connected to the campus. The deadline to apply for that is May 26th, and we will be putting together the presentation to be able to make that application. That was a very quick overview of where we're at. Questions?
Well, based on the presentation we just had from Mrs. Mayo and Mrs. Johnson, also the implications around counseling and lack of services and the inability to reach those kids when they're not at school, right? I think that ties in with this as well. Is that fair to say? Thank you. At this time, we'll move on to the Employee Association's comment period. CSEA? Ladies first.
I was told I have to use a microphone this time. So, President Ham, board members, Mr. Peterson, cabinet members, thank you. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak. We've been around. I'm sorry I haven't been here since January. We had some things that we need to take care of. We had a lot of meetings with our own CSEA members to kind of find out where they are, how they're feeling. They gave us some great input that we were able to take to our cabinet meeting. The biggest thing so far that we want to address and that we've accomplished is we had a great meeting with the transportation department. We know that has kind of been a thorn in everyone's side for a little bit. There's been a lot of conversation going on, but we met with over 20 bus drivers and mechanics and allowed them to express their concerns. And then we compiled those concerns and we took them directly to the cabinet meeting where we addressed them one by one. You guys were fantastic. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to do that. But we took, it was like 5 pages, and we took each one point by point and addressed it. And at the end, Mr. Calderon suggested that we take a field trip out to transportation. Best thing we ever did. It was funny because they allotted us 30 minutes, and we were like, yeah, okay. 3.5 hours later, we had been through everything. They showed us how they plan trips and how they showed us everything. We had big conversation. We learned a ton. The biggest thing we learned is that there was improvements that could be done on both sides, but that we all had the same goal, provide services to the students, the best services that we can. So we were able to take that information, put the responses out, and send them out to our members. And we've been really pleased with the lack of feedback because things seem to be going really well out there. We've heard a lot of positive things. There were a couple things that needed to be tweaked. A quick phone call and an email got them taken care of. So we're really pleased with the progress that the transportation department is making. Another thing that we talked about in cabinet is we had concerns that classified staff were not able to volunteer for positions outside of what they would normally get paid to do. So that was halted. Through cabinet, we were able to discuss that, and we presented a labor law that would allow for that. And the cabinet has agreed to work on some sort of a waiver or something that would allow our classified staff to start volunteering again. If people want to volunteer to help teenagers, let's take it. We love our kids, and we want to do the best for them at all times. The other thing we had discussed is working. One of the things that's been halted is allowing us to do trainings outside of the area. and the cabinet has agreed to work with us on an MOU to find a way that will benefit the district and benefit the employees to allow us to get training outside of the area. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of options here, but they do put on some great conferences out of the area. We had talked about working on a rotating basis, so maybe 1 year the paraprofessionals go to paraprofessional conference, and the next year the Associated Student Body office goes, and the following year maybe the parent liaisons go. So it's not the same group every time. And we look forward to working on an MOU for that. Another thing that has been accomplished, we had talked quite frequently about the fight protocol. One of our biggest concerns is there was a statement in there that said, it doesn't say you must, but it says put a student in a CPI hold. A lot of our people were very concerned about that because the reality is if you have two 250-pound kids fighting, it's very difficult to put them in a CPI hold. So people were very resistant to get involved and to help because they were concerned that their attempts to help would get them in trouble because it wouldn't do a proper CPI hold. We worked with the cabinet and Christy Johnson, and we are very grateful. Simply adding the word attempt before that, attempt a proper CPI hold, made all of the difference. Because we are attempting to do it, and now that people have that word in there, they feel better. They feel like they can intervene. As long as they know they're attempting to do the right thing, it just makes them feel better. So we thank you guys for working with us on that. Thank you. With that being said, we do have a concern, a couple concerns. We had heard the board meeting a while ago, and we agree with the DTA that we are concerned with some of these behaviors that are happening on campus, where we understand there's a lot of things that are going on to make the situation better, a lot of things we've seen tonight, but we're concerned in the meantime, it's what's going to happen in the meantime. It's putting our people at risk. A lot of these kids they have a saying, you see something, say something. We see something, we say something, but if nothing gets done and we don't see anything get done, then we're gonna stop saying things, and that's a problem all the way across the board, and that's what we're seeing. When we go out and we talk to our other classified members, that's what we're hearing. We're hearing from them, well, I'm just not doing that anymore because nothing happened. And of course, we tell them that's not the way to go about it. Do not do that. Make sure that you're doing your job. Don't be insubordinate. Make sure you take care of the students. But that's what they feel. We see something, we said something, you did nothing, and the kid came back the next day and continued to disrespect and were rude to us, and the other kids see that. It's not a safe environment for them when they see that. Something needs to give in the meantime while we're working all of this to maintain everybody's dignity and safety in school. So thank you guys for listening to me tonight. We are here. But thank you for all the positive things that we've been seeing going on. We do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. DTA?
While it's fresh in my mind, I want to say DTA clearly feels the same as CSEA. And I just want to remind you again, even though I have done it before, it is not what happens today that determines what happens tomorrow. It's what happens for the entire year or the previous 2 years. So as we allow students to feel emboldened with these behaviors with no consequences and having people feel like what we are trying to correct is going just whatever, that setting something up. And we've seen it at El Capitan. This year has been a tremendous shift there. I want to give huge props to administration over there and staff, but district-wide, this is something that each site is concerned about. So I apologize, that was just while it was fresh in my head. So good evening, President Ham, board members, Superintendent Peterson, Cabinet. At the March board meeting, I regrettably was unclear in my message. I used words that were insensitive to certain groups and did not express my intentions accurately. With this address, I'm offering my sincerest apology. And I never meant to suggest that alt-ed teachers or alt-ed sites are not doing a good job. It is quite the contrary. They're doing spectacular work. I apologize for my lack of clarity if I gave that impression to anyone. Please allow me to clarify what I intended to say. As our school populations grow in our district, logic dictates that we will need to expand our alt-ed sites, and we need to do so by adding resources, including additional staff, to our alt-ed sites, as we would do with any other site that is experiencing a population growth. We also need to differentiate between students who simply need credit recovery from those that need more behavioral supports. Behavioral supports like violence prevention, social emotional support. These are things that our district needs to do a better job at, district-wide, not just at alt-ed, but at all comp sites as well. Our students are presenting us with new challenges. So we need to work together with the district to purposely design meaningful supports for students who have not been responsive to our current supports at the comp sites. That is what I intended to say. What came out was off script, and it did not come off well to a lot of people. And I wanted to make sure that that was clear to you, that in no way, shape, or form is our alt-ed site doing anything poorly. With the counseling presentation, I just have one question. Would more counselors at each site lower the caseload for each counselor and thus give them more time to address each individual student? Might this also help with attendance? Those are just things that I was thinking about as this goes forward. And I know we're going to be working with the district on attendance and discipline. But I did want to just say that as it popped into my head during that presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second that motion.
Trustee Jayasenga, would you like to acknowledge the donations?
On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I'd like to thank the following donors for their generous donations. For Atwater High School, we have Jean Haas Foundation, Atwater Rotary Foundation, Atwater Rotary again, Rodney Hill, Loretta Keach, David Bettis, Pamela Brewer. For Buhat Colony High School, David Bettis. For Golden Valley High School, Clara Juarez, Josie Solis, Kevin Swatwood, Louis Souza. And for Independence Yosemite Merced Adult School, we have a donation from Food Grade Solutions. On to Livingston High School, we have donations from Rosa Maria Valadao, Rebecca and Trevor Jackson, Miguel Ambries, Ava DeLong, and Weimar Farms. For Merced High School, we have donations from Cindy Ramirez, Nancy Goodman, and Judy Gold Benson. Thank you, everyone, for your generous donation.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
We want to do a
Comments?
quick introduction.
I think after we vote.
That's a great idea.
Can I get a call for the vote? I'm calling for the vote. Yeah, okay. And the consent agenda passes 4-0. Mrs. Ballinger.
Thank you, President Ham. I'd like to take a moment to point out that you just approved the consent agenda, which include the personnel report, which has Brett Nicholson on it, who will be moving into the Director of Human Resources role from the Merced High School Associate Principal role. So I wanted to say congratulations to Brett.
Come on up and give your speech, Brett.
Okay, we will move on to the action agenda, and the next, I'm not sure, 8 or so items Mrs. Ballinger will be introducing.
Good evening. May 10th, 2023 is established as California Day of the Teacher. Teachers are honored statewide for their contributions to public schools. A proposed resolution declaring May 10th, 2023 as Day of the Teacher in the Merced Union High School District is attached, and I'm going to read it. This resolution would honor and draw attention to the teachers in our district who give of themselves every day for young people and for their commitment to excellence in our schools. So Merced Union High School District proclaiming May 10th, 2023 as Day of the Teacher, whereas teachers play the pivotal role in shaping the daily education experience of the young people who attend our schools, and whereas teachers give of themselves with mind, heart, and hands in their effort to make the daily experience meaningful and productive, and whereas teachers put in many hours of their own time to make amplified, personalized learning experiences possible for students, and whereas no other profession touches as many people with such lasting effect, and whereas excellence in our district begins with our teachers, and whereas we appreciate the value, the skill, and commitment of our teaching staff and wish to recognize the tremendous importance of their contribution. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Merced Union High School District does hereby proclaim Wednesday, May 10th, 2023 as the Day of the Teacher in the Merced Union High School District. The superintendent recommends the Board of Trustees adopt resolution number 1322, declaring May 10th, 2023 as California Day of the Teacher.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second that.
Are there any questions, comments? Call for the vote. I suspect that will pass 4-0. Who can say no to the teachers?
Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
Next, I have a resolution for Classified School Employee Week 2023. May 22nd to 26th, 2023 is established as Classified School Employee Week. Classified employees are honored statewide for their contributions to the public schools. A proposed resolution declaring May 22nd to 26th, 2023 as Classified School Employee Week in the Merced Union High School District is attached, and I'll read that one too. This resolution would honor and draw attention to the many efficient, hardworking, and dedicated classified employees in our district who give of themselves every day for the young people and help the district run smoothly. Merced Union High School District proclaiming May 22nd to 26th, 2023 as Classified and School Employee Week, whereas classified professionals provide valuable services to the school district and students of the Merced Union High School District, and whereas classified professionals contribute to the establishment and promotion of a positive instructional environment, and whereas classified professionals play a vital role in providing for the welfare and safety of Merced Union High School District students, and whereas classified professionals employed by the Merced Union High School District strive for excellence in all areas relative to the educational community, and whereas excellence in our district relies on the support of our classified professionals, now therefore be it resolved that the Merced Union High School District hereby recognizes and wishes to honor the contribution of the classified school employees to quality education in the state of California and in the Merced Union High School District, and declares the week of May 22nd to 26th, 2023 as Classified School Employee Week in the Merced Union High School District. The superintendent recommends the Board of Trustees adopt resolution number 14-22, declaring May 22nd through 26th, 2023 as Classified at School Employee Week.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
I'll second that.
Any further questions or comments? Call for the vote. we all feel the same way about this one, too. I wave my magic wand. Because I can read your thoughts. Four oh, Mrs. Ballinger again.
Effective 7/1/2023, the Merced Adult School proposes an increase in wages of $3 per hour to each step for adult school substitute and adult school resource wage. The increase makes the unique funding model specific to adult education and takes the unique funding model specific to adult education into consideration and represents an amount of increase that is fiscally responsible considering the revenues available for the Merced Adult School for the upcoming school years. Proposed changes are attached. And the superintendent recommends the Board of Trustees approve the proposed salary increase for the Merced Adult School effective 7/1/2023.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Any further questions?
Just real quick, Ms. Ballinger, so where does this compare as far as other adult school programs?
Comes out of the consortium, so I'm not exactly sure on that.
Okay,
Yeah, Mr. Hobbs helps manage that consortium.
okay, sounds good, thank you.
Call for the vote. Four oh, moving along.
Thank you. So the next one is for a new board policy 4119.24, 4219.24, and 4319.24. The Human Resources Department worked with legal to review our new employee paperwork and process, our onboarding process. And it was recommended that we adopt the CSBA suggested policy for maintaining appropriate adult-student interactions. And there's three of them because 4119.24 is the policy for certificated staff, 4219.24 is for classified staff, and then 4319.24 is the policy for management. All three policies contain the same language. They were also approved by our attorneys at AALRR. So the superintendent brings before the Board of Trustees new board policy 4119.24, 4219.24, and 4319.24, maintaining appropriate adult-student interactions for a first reading with possibility of adoption.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading and waive the first reading.
Second?
Second that motion.
Any further questions?
That makes sense? No, it didn't make sense.
We knew what you meant.
Waive the first reading and approve the second reading.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, we're
Call
good,
for the
we're good.
vote.
Either way.
Waive the second.
She nodded, like, okay, we're good, make it work. I guess.
Call for the vote. And that passes 4-0. Mrs. Ballinger again.
Thank you. And this one is for a revision to Board Policy 4030, which is our non-discrimination in employment. And during that same paperwork review that we were doing with AALRR, they suggested some revisions to Board Policy 4030 to update it to align with current laws and language. The revisions are based on the CSBA model language, and they have also been reviewed by our attorney. The superintendent brings before the Board of Trustees revisions to Board Policy 4030, non-discrimination in employment, for a first reading with the possibility of adoption.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second that motion.
Any further questions? Call for the vote. And that passes 4-0. Okay.
Thank you. My next one is an update to Board Policy, again, for Board Policy 4119.11, 4219.11, and 4319.11 for sexual harassment. During that same paperwork review, there were suggestions to update the policy to align with current laws and language. Again, the 4119.11 is for certificated, 4219.11 is for classified, and 4319.11 is for management. All three policies contain the same language based on the CSBA model policies and were approved by an attorney at AALRR. The superintendent brings before the Board of Trustees revisions to Board Policy 4119.11, 4219.11, and 4319.11 sexual harassment for a first reading with possibility of adoption.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve and waive the first reading. The second reading, I'm sorry. Thank you, Mrs. Robeck.
Is there a second? Are there any further questions? Call for the vote. And that passes 4-0, and now we pass the baton to Mr. Calderon.
Thank you.
President Ham, on March 30th, 2023, Merced Union High School District opened bids for the Atwater High School and Merced High School pool replacement projects. Merced Union High School District received 3 bids that exceed our estimated budget amount. Therefore, our recommendation is the superintendent recommends that the board reject the bids for the Atwater High School and Merced High School pool replacement project.
Is there a motion to approve the rejection of the bids?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further questions? Call for the vote. I just want to say thank you for being so prudent with the district's money and going back and hoping to get a better bid. And that passes 4-0. Mr. Calderon again.
President Ham, on January 31st, 2022, Merced Union High School District approved the purchase of 115 HVAC units necessary to replace the existing failing units at Golden Valley High School. On March 29, 2023, Facilities Planning received a responsive and responsible bid from Modern Air Mechanical for the installation of the 115 HVAC units and the Emergency Management System, the EMS, all pertinent equipment and materials required to complete the project. The total amount of the bid is $2,039,815. Now, there are 4 additional units that will be mounted on the gymnasium that are still awaiting DSA approval and are not part of this package, but we will bring that to you when that's ready. The superintendent recommends the board award the bid to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, Modern Air Mechanical of Merced, for $2,039,815.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second?
A second.
Any questions? Call for the vote. And that passes 4-0. Dr. Weimer.
Yes, the next 2 items. The next 2 items are the last 2 pieces of property to complete the Atwater Business Park project, which once completed will include the district office, transportation, nutrition, grounds, and maintenance and operations. This is an option to purchase the last 2 pieces. The superintendent recommends the board approve purchase of the option to purchase and sale agreement between the district and Valdez Company LLC of property located at 651 Aviator in the city of Atwater, and delegate authority to the superintendent or a designee to enter into the option agreement and take any action necessary to effectuate the terms of the option agreement.
Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any further questions? Call for the vote. And that passes 4-0. Dr. Weimer?
And the superintendent recommends the board approve the purchase to the option to purchase and sale agreement between the district and Valdez Company LLC of property located at APN 056-330-053-000 in the city of Atwater, and delegate authority to the superintendent or designee to enter into the option agreement and take any action necessary to effectuate the terms of the option agreement.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any questions? Call for the vote. And that passes 4-0. Okay, the Delegate Assembly Election Committee members met on March 23rd, 2023 to count and certify the ballots for membership on the CSBA Assembly. A tie vote resulted in a runoff election in our region. We are asked to cast a vote for one of the write-in candidates. Jesse Espinosa, Merced City. Merced City Elementary School District. Desiree Rodriguez, Delhi Unified School District, and Kelly Thomas, Winton School District. The superintendent recommends the Board of Trustees vote for one candidate to fill the seat from Subregion AD, Merced County, to the CSBA Delegate Assembly. The alternative would be to not vote for one of the candidates. Would someone like to nominate one of those three candidates? I know Jesse previously served, but then did not, so I'm not sure if he was a write-in.
Kelly would do a great job from Winton.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to nominate Kelly Thomas from the Winton School District.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Are there any further questions? Call for the vote. And that passes 4-0. At this time, we'll turn it over to Mr. Peterson for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mrs. Ham. This is interactive, so if you have any questions after I go over a topic, please ask or come back at the end. MUHSD is partnering with UC Merced to curate a slate of summer offerings on the UC campus. Currently, there is a thought exchange survey circulating to MUHSD students to gauge their interest in attending any or all of the following one-day courses. Introduction to esports, Next Tech Robotics, and Fly Citrus, which is drone education. The next steps include sending the data back to UC Merced so they can work on a master scheduling of courses for those that gain the most interest. There will be other opportunities possible, but that's where we are currently when discussing the conversation with the UC. Understand that it's the UC, and they have their process, and what we suggest and want sometimes isn't always the way it goes. We will continue working at it. Questions?
I do have a question. So how about expanding what they're currently doing for some high school students that are already on site, participating in research programs? Have they offered that up to other students in our high school district?
I wasn't in. Mr. Johnson, you want to kind of give the lowdown on that conversation and answer Mrs. J. Singa's question?
I would love to. Could you repeat it? Because I missed the last part.
So what Superintendent Peterson mentioned just now were one-day events. I was interested to know what about expanding on research opportunities. We currently have some high school students who are participating in research opportunities on the UC Merced campus. Is that going to be available for other high school students within our district?
They didn't bring that forward as an option.
Oh, was that presented?
No.
Was that asked about, or?
No. Well, I didn't know it was happening.
Well,
Okay.
so the beginning of that conversation was all about that, and then the underlings get involved, and they have a UC process that they go through. So we will have to be very clear with our wishes.
Yeah.
We decided to start small, gauge the interest, because they have to arrange the teacher and everything. What we're looking at for next year is expanding those options to week-long seminars. There's also, they have some sort of campground up in the mountains where they test the water, and they want that to be an overnight experience. They have access to some sort of hotel or something up there, and so we are going to expand, but we wanted to start small with these offerings to see what the kids would be interested in. So that's the process.
And it's more than, just the summer too. It's just exposure to what's available year-round at the UC, and taking our students that have no idea and having them stay there for a week in the summer, to kind of do a mini college experience, and then the high-level things with professors and such. So they will keep working at it.
Thank you.
Evaluation Committee. The Evaluation Committee has met, and this is a dual committee, district and DTA. Has met several times and has drafted a document outlining some principles of an effective professional growth system. This draft is a set of shared beliefs around how the system will serve to strengthen a teacher's skills, knowledge, and practice, and how administrators can best support and help create a strong foundation of growth through feedback, collaboration, and regular calibration. At the last meeting, the teachers were taking a draft back to the e-board for discussion, and the district side was going to present that to cabinet for discussion. The committee is meeting again on May 4th. Anything to add to that? Okay. Very good. Phone Committee. The Cell Phone Committee has met a few times and discussed the current frustration by many teachers related to the cell phone use in classrooms. They have discussed the district's current policy and are working to identify changes that would have widespread support. Site principals and discipline committees are also discussing this issue to help provide insight going forward. The next meeting will be held on April 26th. Site visits. Mrs. Ballinger is doing site visits this year, and she will be at all sites, cover them by mid-May. And these are open discussions regarding all things ed services. So we encourage staff to engage her on any questions, concerns that they may have. Senior lunches, I will be going out and about and cover all sites by the end of the year, doing my senior meetings. Board members will get those dates out to you. You're welcome to attend. And again, what I do there is just ask our seniors to share their experience and give us feedback on how we can improve the high school experience going forward. Staff discipline feedback. Discipline feedback is being sought from all sites. The sites will share their feedback with the district and union leadership, and the district and the union will review the data and make recommendations with regard to next steps. This will be a collaborative effort between the district and DTA. Merced City, you asked me to meet with the superintendent, and I did. We met and had a very good conversation. She committed to having an upper-level meeting at least twice a year, and basically just to assist each other and how we can improve the transition for Merced City students to MUHSD, making it as seamless as possible. It was a very positive conversation. And we will continue that. I've had a number of conversations with you, with random community people about safety. Every time there is an incident in our nation, the topic comes up. And, you know, I'm happy to set anything up in May if you have any questions or you'd like us to bring in the police department or the sheriff department to talk about best practices, you know, we can do that. We feel very strongly that we have, you know, the sheriff's department has provided an outstanding service to Livingston and Atwater high schools. I think we can say that Merced City has been much improved the second semester. So we don't have any qualms there. I think that is a huge deterrent and help and assistance, a resource for our students and staff having them on campus. But happy to continue that discussion if any board members would like to go down that road. We are going to need a special meeting the week of May 15th or the week of May 22nd. If you can look at your calendars and let Mrs. Rohrbach know tonight, that will be a critical meeting. We'll need 3 people here, a quorum to approve the contracts for the pools, the new ones. And that is all I have, Mrs. Ham. Thank you. And again, congratulations, Mr. Nicholson. You have your work cut out for you. Thank you, Mrs. Ballinger, for an outstanding job the last few years in HR. Big shoes to fill. And we look forward to you joining us in cabinet.
Mr. Peterson, I have a quick question about the meetings you're having with seniors. Do you meet, has there been any discussion around meeting with students who have already graduated that can offer some feedback on their experience after they've taken that next step?
I have not done that, no.
Would you be interested in doing that?
I certainly can do that. I have had not official discussions, but I know Mr. Braga started a Facebook page here for alumni, and he and I had that discussion about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and I did contact a few of those people, but haven't done anything on a regular basis.
Go ahead, Tiffany, if you have any communication or future agenda items.
Oh, thank you. I just real quick want to again congratulate our LHS and GB teams that we saw for their outstanding accomplishments. Also, Coach Rhodes for his accomplishment. I know he runs a great program, and one of my kids participated in that program, so I know it's a very comprehensive, well-rounded program, and they do a great job with the kids, so congratulations to him. And I think that's it for me. Thank you.
Mrs. Jayasinga?
Okay. Thank you, President Ham. Thank you, Ms. Parley, and the staff of Atwater High for hosting us this evening, this afternoon. Congratulations to the Atwater and Golden Valley sports teams on huge accomplishments. It takes a lot to get to that point, and it takes dedication and perseverance as well. I look forward to the senior interviews that are coming up. I know I signed up for at least 3 schools, so looking forward to that, as well as the other senior recognition events that are coming up in the next few weeks. The year's quickly coming to an end, so signing up for those things. So looking forward to all of that, and that's pretty much all I had. You know, actually, I did, so last board meeting, I had a question, and I didn't hear back from anyone, so I'm not sure who to direct that to. Maybe Superintendent Peterson could help with that. The SATs and the PSATs, I think there is some inconsistencies from what I'm hearing back from parents on how each school site registers students or shares that information on the registration process. So even though the UCs are test blind and a lot of schools, you know, don't look at those scores, there are still students who are interested in taking the SATs and the PSATs. So I'd like to know exactly how each school does that.
Inconsistent in the way they sign up for it?
Or just even share the information to students who are eligible to sign up for those. So, thank you.
Mr. Lopez?
Yeah, congratulations, Brett, once again. Looking forward to you doing a great job there. Just a couple things on my behalf. I want to thank everyone who attended and put on the Ida Johnson event. I think that was fantastic. Great showing by the district, so thank you everyone there. And then last thing for me, if I can get, or we can get an update on the changes that were made to the Edmentum program, please, to see what that's going to look like moving forward. You know, see what's going to happen this year, this fourth quarter, for I guess just for seniors, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. So.
Yeah, we can get that out to you Monday.
Okay, perfect. That's it. Thank you, guys. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Atwater, for being a great host. Loved hearing about the nearly 100 students that received the Seal of Biliteracy. I was at that event last year, and Atwater, hands down, had the most students with the Seal of Biliteracy then as well. So just an incredible job on the I don't know, the belief in the students and the encouragement to actually go through the process. Thank you for that. Loved hearing about the turf management program. I imagine that's probably going to explode like wildfire, and all of our campuses will like to have that. I've been really impressed with the sheriff and the partnership that we have with them. It was great to arrive here this evening and see that they've put the Falcon logo on their vehicle, and I understand they've done that for Buhack and Livingston as well. So not just that they're here and on our campuses every day, but I think in such a positive way. They're interacting with students, being great role models, and yes, they absolutely make campuses feel more safe, but I think they're doing far more than that. So I really appreciate the Merced County Sheriff. Major props to Mr. Nicholson. We're gonna really miss you at Merced High, but I'm very excited for the district and our continued growth to have you in this position. I too have had a lot of questions about safety from staff and parents and students, and so I appreciate that we're taking some initiatives to work on that further and discuss it, because I think it really resonated tonight. If there are no consequences, then students are just going to keep doing the same things over and over again. And is there a way? I know we've talked about the idea behind Yosemite and Sequoia is that they are small and they handle a small number of students, therefore they get greater resources and attention, but maybe do we have a north site and a south site or something to expand that program? I know, Mr. Peterson, you were instrumental in getting one of those two
Go ahead,
programs going, and I think that they are really exceptional for our district. So I think it would be another facilities project potentially to look into. What is the possibility of doing something like that? Thank you for starting a phone committee looking into cell phones on campus. I'm excited about that. And then I wanted to learn about summer school. You mentioned the program with the UC. Will there be enrichment opportunities again on campuses, or will it only be credit recovery? You can get back to me.
Yeah, we'll get that out
Okay.
Monday too.
Excellent. All right. And with that, what time is it?
Oh.
I adjourn the meeting.